live on YouTube 3. Okay. And welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. Good evening, David, and thank you everybody that showed up. So tonight's webinar is basically going to be on what it basically says, artificial intelligence, and how that technology is taking over Wall Street. And not just Wall Street, it's taking over the markets in general, every kind of market, the Forex market, the futures market, even the crypto market, which is not even a real market. But we're going to go into some strategies on how you can trade alongside artificial intelligence and these algorithmic trading computers that are basically controlling the entire system. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. And I found something very, very interesting. A couple things interesting. Well, first, let's go into AI and what it is and how it's affecting the marketplace and how it's affecting you. Now, typically, when you're in when you trade in the stock market, you are trying to speculate as to what a stock might do. Now, in some cases you're right, in some cases you're wrong. Emotions come along, and sometimes you are right, but somehow you still manage to lose money. We've all been there, and that even happened to me today. Lyft IPO'd. I even called it, and I said, you know what, that's way overpriced. That's going to come down at least to 80. It went down to 77. I shorted the stock, and yet somehow I still took a loss. Why is that? Well, the human mind got into the way. I saw it popping up and I said, well, maybe I'm wrong. I second guessed myself and I got out for a loss. Now, imagine if you had the ability to know what a stock was going to do. We'd all be rich. We'd all, technically, right? We'd all be rich. We'd all think we'd all be rich. But listen to the scenario that I just played out. I was fairly certain that it was going to go down to at least 80, and yet I still managed to turn it into a loss. That's why computerized trading is taking over the marketplace. Goldman Sachs, this is a true statistic, and I can cite everything, used to have a trading floor, 500 traders making trades. They now have on that same floor just 3 people managing computers. From 500 traders to 3 traders. I want you to look at this statistic real quick and not this Twilight Zone screen. Let's see. I looked it up just to see. I wanted to make sure I got my percentages correct. Algorithmic trading, it's the same thing as artificial intelligence trading, or it can be different. It's not exactly the same thing, but for the sake of this conversation, we're talking about computers trading. So algorithmic trading has grown dramatically in popularity over the past decade. In the US, 70% of overall trading volume is generated through algorithmic trading. And here's the interesting part. I clicked on it. It looks like it was updated recently in 2017, but the graph actually shows in 2012, 85% of trading volume is done by algorithmic trading, by computers. That's insane. That's incredible. It's you against the calculator. Would you take a math test against a calculator? No. And here's the thing. This technology is constantly getting better and better and better and better. The flash crash we had in December where it dropped 20% and popped back up, purposely orchestrated. We had the same thing happen in February of 2017, was it? Or maybe 2016? But in the previous February, we had the same thing happen, a flash crash. It's all orchestrated. Now, there's a couple things you can do. You can take advantage of that. For example, in the past, since Monday, the market, the S&P 500 has been literally has been, I'll say it without showing a graph. It's been doing the same formation for the past 2 weeks, and we've been capitalizing on it. Computers are trading the market, and we can see it. We can see the same patterns happening over and over again. Okay, the same patterns happening over and over again, and we play them. We know that the market's likely going to pop in a certain direction at the open. In whichever direction that it pops, it's likely to reverse and continue in that direction, and it almost always stays in a channel. And we've been capitalizing on that simply because the computer has been orchestrating it that way. Now, I was watching this article, and obviously I'm not going to play this article, but it's something extremely different. Okay? At first, maybe, I don't know what these geniuses that created AI, how they base it or what they base it off of, but they're getting smarter and smarter with it. Okay, maybe at first it was just based off algorithms and they were using maybe SMAs, moving averages, along with this and volume, and maybe that's how these systems were working, but they're getting even smarter. They did a study on how these algorithms that these corporations were using, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, are looking at what you search on Google. They're looking at what you search on Google, basically to figure out what you'll trade. So you know how whenever you look up anything on the stock market on Google, all of a sudden every time you go on YouTube, there's some bozo in a jet telling you he'll make you a millionaire if you buy his program. Well, that's the same system that they're using to augment and manipulate the stock market and figure out what people are going to buy and get in and hike out the price and then pull out. I mean, you really have no chance. These computers are taking all the money and they have to get it from someone. And it's the one constant that hasn't changed is it's the poor sucker who's losing all his money. It's the hard-working middleman. If you've ever watched the movie Wolf of Wall Street, right? He's sitting down with his wife at a restaurant, and you know, he's at this point in the movie, Jordan Belfort or Leonardo DiCaprio is selling all this crap stock that he knows is going to dump to these like working class regular people who can't afford the loss, and there's a scene with the guy who loses his home, or maybe that's in Boiler Room, but either way, his wife says, why are you selling this junk to like poor people? Can't you sell it to rich people? And his response was, she says, why don't you sell it to rich people? And his response was, well, rich people are too smart. They won't buy this stuff. So, you know, in terms of that, the system hasn't changed. You know, the rich people are putting their money, for the most part, in it with investors, in hedge funds. The rich stay rich, as always. They're making money. They're in on this. And then the working class guy is putting his money in the market trying to invest, and he's getting suckered, and he doesn't understand why. And I mean, it's been this way for a long time, but the tables have really turned. The tide is really unfair to the average investor. If you just want to be a trader, 90% of traders lose. 40% of traders who start give up within the first month. It's only the traders who stick with this for 5 years come to realize that, hey, I need some kind of system. I need something. You can't. The system of trading has changed. It's computer against computer. Now, back to what I was saying about this and how they're getting smarter and smarter, just like everything else. The original cell phone, you used to have to wear a pack, and it was a big thing. Look up the original cell phone. You had to wear a backpack just to carry the modem. I mean, these systems always advance, and now they're doing the same thing that they do with advertising to figure out what kind of stocks people are buying. And pretty soon that's going to seep into brokerage accounts and everything else, And they know what you're looking at. They know how to beat you. It's an unfair game. The only thing to do is to play on, concurrent flows and systems. Those will never change. Concurrent, fluctuations and formations. But the scary part is, right now, 80% of trading is done by institutions. And 85%, apparently in 2012, it's probably higher now, of trading is done by algorithmic systems. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, I want to level the playing field, right? I want something to tell me when a stock is going to go up or down. Because they all know. Do you understand what goes on when you simply make a trade? Do you understand that when you make a trade, let's say through Robinhood, that trade is being processed. It takes about a second to process. It takes about 0.03 milliseconds, and you can look this up, for the high frequency traders in between your phone and BATS or ARCA or any other of the processing systems. It takes them 0.03 milliseconds to scalp half a cent off of your trade. It takes you 300 milliseconds to blink. The systems are getting faster. It's becoming unfair. So I want to be on the same field. And believe it or not, there are systems out there, AI trading systems, that are available for the retail trader. Now, at first I'm skeptic. Now, there's this one company, I spent 2 hours on the phone with this guy, and all he was trying to sell me, Vantage Point. He's like, we've been around for 40 years, blah, blah, blah. We're the best. We've been on CNBC, Fox, da, 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 da. I'm like, show me your system. He shows me his system. All it is it's a study line. It's a study line called the PMA, the predictive moving average. And whenever the predictive moving average goes above the standard moving average, that is when the stock is supposedly going to go up. And they are right 86% of the time. No, wait, 80. Well, sometimes 70. Well, it could be 90. I was like, guy, which one is it? He's like, well, there's another line at the bottom. If the line at the bottom is green and the one at the top is, let me blow up the screen here because I know that this one's really small, and the one at the top is going over the one at the bottom, and you have a good chance that I'm like, okay, so you're selling me an indicator. How much? Well, it's $8,900. I said $8,900 for an indicator? I said, are you serious? Anyway, I was very upset with that, and obviously, I told the guy to take that and do whatever with it, and he was very pushy, very, very pushy. If there's a salesperson being very, very pushy, you got to watch out. So you know what? We moved on from this, and I've looked around. There's another one called there's another system. I have my group. I run my trading group, and I've been contacted by people before who've asked me to promote their product. Now, this one company, Benjamin AI, all these kids from North Jersey are selling this Benjamin AI. Sounds very weird, right? And, they're like, yeah, you sell it to your clients, it's $300, and you get a $3,000 commission. I said, what? I said, how's that possible? They're only paying $300. Well, they have to trade on our brokerage, on our platform, and they have to put at least X amount of dollars in there, and eventually we'll get $3,000 out of them, and that'll be your commission. I said, so you're ripping these people off, is what you're doing. You're selling them a dream. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to show you what I use, how I use it, And David, who is my mentee and someone who I highly respect, he is much older than me, but much newer when it comes to trading. Very, very smart man. He's someone who can explain the system much better than me when it comes in terms to Holly and Omni AI. He was telling me things I did not know existed. For now, we use this in the morning. It gives us a great pre-market scan, and it tells us the float, which if you're a day trader, you gotta know the float. And it's a beautiful platform. You got everything on here from Alpha Predator, which is stocks that are going to soar through the day, short squeeze, surge, swing trades, low float, gap, the gap trade, options, everything. You got everything on here. After hours, and every day of the week they run a live webinar. But David just knows this program so much better than me. David, are you there? David, welcome. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I do appreciate it.
And if you've never seen a stock before in your life, that's a great book. But once you start learning, you realize there's a lot better options out there. And it's it was about that time where I started feeling a little bit frustrated with trying to learn how. I kept hitting walls to where, I was using words before I got into a trade like, I hope this works. I pray that this works. Or, it would be really great if this worked out. And I would jump in, and sometimes it would work, and sometimes it didn't. Really, it felt a whole lot like being on a roulette table, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who has felt that way. And I met Luke. And he just jumped out there one day, put himself out there, and said, "Hey, you know what? I've been trading stocks for a long time. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to show y'all what I do. If you want to log on and follow me on Facebook, I'm just going to sit here and trade, what I would normally trade. And while I'm doing it, you can ask me questions. I can teach you what I'm doing, and we'll learn how to do this." And I started watching, and from day one, I began hooked. I went right out. I bought a notebook. I started writing down all the keywords that he would say, everything that he would try and teach, and started following him. And he was kind enough to field my phone calls, answer my questions, things like that. And it just it's been really great ever since. He's given me some great material to read. He helps me review my trades, whether they're good, and saying, "Hey, you did that right," or if I did something wrong, and he slaps my hand and says, you know that you shouldn't have jumped in there, or you know what to look for. He's been really great. And one of the things that Luke has added in is what you're seeing on your screen right now, the Trade Ideas Pro AI platform. And so where I'm at today, I'm still a new trader. Okay, I'm still learning how to make it through successfully. Uh, I I guess I know enough to be dangerous, if that makes any sense, but I'm still learning. And one of the most important parts of my day is building a good watch list in the mornings. Some people who are watching that get to watch me build a watch list in the mornings. You see what we do. We have a routine that we follow. We have things that we do. Uh, since I started using Trade Ideas Pro AI, it has totally changed my morning routine. I'm not running to any of the old sources I went to. I'm staying away from the chat rooms to find what people are talking about or things like that. I've got access to everything right here. Just like Luke said, this is the future. This is what it is.
Absolutely.
The information that is coming out right now, we're getting, with very slight delays. It's a little higher than what it normally is because I'm at home. My connection isn't as great as it is when I'm plugged in at work. But I mean, it's close to instant as you can get, and you have so many options. I'll show you a couple right now and go into a little bit of what they can do, how it's changed for me, and how you can benefit. First thing I want to point out is that for those of you who have been watching for the last week or two since I started messing with Trade Ideas, just today I had a major breakthrough and have realized that, while I thought I was taking full advantage of this program, I haven't even begun to scratch the surface.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pull up something just right now. It's called Omni AI. And so for those of you who have Trade Ideas and can follow along, it's normally located right below the three hollies. And what it does when you pull it up is it gives you the information from the three hollies. Okay, so there are a lot of you who are saying, okay, well, who's Holly? Why are they? Let's click on that. Holly is the name of the AI from Trade Ideas. You have three different personalities of you got Holly Gray, Holly, and Holly Neo. And each one represents a little bit different trading strategy. One is extremely risk taking. It's like, hey, I'm going to gamble big to win big. Another one's kind of middle ground. And then you got another one that says, you know what, I'm going to try and play it as safe as I can, really tight stop losses, things like that. And every single day they go out and they trade. And so, you can have Trade Ideas and see how they do. So today, here's how they perform. And this is based off of them buying a single share, just for demonstration purposes. Holy Grail buying one share at a time for any position. It's up $2.54, up 43 cents here, down 53 cents here. You know what? We all have red days. If we didn't, then it wouldn't be believed. And this will tell you how many positions that Holly took that day. So in this corner, you can see this Holly got into 16 different positions today. The /0 lets you know that she is not in any positions actively right now. So throughout the day, you'll see that say something like, 5 and 2. And that means she's been in 5 positions for the day. She's currently in 2, so she's already closed out of the other 3. When you click on it, it's going to bring up some windows over here so you can get some information about what's happening. Okay? So this window would show her open positions by default. And if she's in something, it'll give you some information here. Down here, anytime that she closes her position, it'll go down here and say, what time she got in, what time she got out. Did she short the stock? Did she go long? What was the strategy? Why did she get into this stock? Oh, on this one, she saw a breakout. So you could actually go and look. You know what? EXP at 109, there was a breakout. So we're going to come up here to the chart, EXP. When you click on it, on the stock, if you look up, it's update. And it'll update here, so you can get an overall summary of stock, tell you the float, tell you any information that you want to know. But we want to see what happened at 109 that was so interesting that Holly had to jump into it. Okay, so you change this, you left click, and we want to change the time frame to 1 minute. 109, and she marks it for you. 5. But she's watching this stuff. It's sitting here moving, sitting here moving. Boom, starting to move up. Here's a breakout, 109. Look how fast she jumps in, okay? That candle shoots up. This is a 1 minute candle. Normally, for us, I see this gap up, and I'm like, holy cow, I'd love to get in on this, and I'm trying to catch her right here. Can anybody else relate to that? And, I might, usually what will happen, if I'm totally transparent, if I end up doing something like this, Luke will tell me all the time, don't chase a gap, don't chase a gap. Well, if you see something like this and you get excited and try to jump in, usually by the time you queue up your order, you plug it in, you hit go, you bought in right here, and then how many people had this happen? You just buy in. As soon as you do, it's like your buy signal was the first indicator it needed to do what? Bam! Luke, do you think, how many times have you heard people say that to you?
I don't even touch the gap anymore. I mean, it's got if it's like a neat pullback, that's different. But a gap like that, I would never touch. No, you got to buy at the bottom. But the good news is you have that technology here. Doesn't it tell you on which one are you on right now? Holy Grail. It tells you the exit and entry on that one.
Yes.
Yeah, it does, right? Mm-hmm.
And that's yep, and that's the best part about it is that while we are only as fast as we can click a mouse, she's instant. She's in the system, right? So she was able to get in as this minute candle was rising up and took a position. Boom. Now what we want to look at is her sell point. Okay? Now she did lose money on this one, but that's what happens. Reduce risk. You don't win them all. But here's what's important. Look when she sold. She was able to see the looming red candle of death and able to get out at the top of it before it plummeted, which is the other thing I know we have all felt. I mean, she saw it like, hey, you know what? Out. And so she lost a little bit of money, right? But she didn't lose her account and ended up still profitable for the day by following her strategies. And so whether it's reduced risk, a timed exit, like on this one, so you see here, so she timed it and sold out there. She had a profit, all right? And you can see here, look, profit save, shorting this one. And you can just scroll through and you can see. You can see what's happening. As she goes through each one of these. And so it's an amazing technology.
I mean that David, that really is incredible. I mean, and you know what's funny is you talked about you're just scratching the surface and you're starting to dig a little deeper, and then you find out there's another surface. But it's not unobtainable. It's not like too much. It's simple. Look how simple that platform is. You just have to understand that, and you have this technology available to you. I mean, this is what By the way, this technology, Trade Ideas, is not just for the retail trader. It's not just for like day trader. This is used by institutional institutions and institutional traders as well. So I mean, it's an amazing platform. Me and David often refer to, like this morning, it wasn't going up on my thing, and I had to trade naked this morning, David. And but that's what we call it. Trading without it is like trading naked. You have institutions like Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, and they're all controlling the market. And even if they're not, even if it's just some little tiny firm out in Tobago, Idaho, that is pumping and dumping a stock, um, this software will catch it. It'll be able to tell by the amount of volume going in, and how many people are coming in, and when, and where they're coming in, and when, and it's very, very accurate. I wish they gave a percentage of its accuracy, but I would say from my personal use, and I've been using this a very long time, if I had to give a number on how accurate it is in terms of just like its predictions, I don't know what would you say, David? I would say it's at like 85%, 90%. I gotta say, it's that good. It's very rare that like the only time it'll be off is if something unusual happens. Like today, Larry Kudlow came on TV while the market was in a kind of a little bit of a downslope, and all of a sudden everything jumped up. And by the way, I jumped in Roku when that happened because Roku jumped up as well. But yeah, it's just incredible. And if it's not, and it's compared to the other program, Vantage Point, where the guy was being very pushy, and then when I told him, I said, "Oh, listen, I'm not interested at $9,000. Okay, I'm just not interested at that price." And he got nasty with me and started being snappy. The people over here are nice. I talk to them all the time. They're willing to help you. They run a webinar every night. Every night they run a webinar for members, and there's like one or two free ones a week. And if you just really fully participated in this. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in signing up for Trade Ideas, there is a link below and a coupon code for 15% off. Breakout. It's Breakout 15. It is case sensitive. And I'm also giving you, if you sign up through that link, it'll let me know. Make sure you contact me through my group or whatever. I'm giving you a free membership for 3 months to my group. That way we can kind of all trade together live. Me, David, and a group of, and the group. We all trade live in the morning, and I can show you how I use this software. And lately we've been using it on highly leveraged accounts. And it's been giving us the abilities, but it doesn't have to be used on leveraged accounts. It can be used on regular accounts. And now they have this, what is it called? Brokerage Plus. David knows more about it than me. But they have this thing called Brokerage Plus where you can literally hook up Holly to your brokerage account. Now, right now it only works with one broker, that's Interactive Brokers, so you'd have to switch to Interactive Brokers. But from what I understand, Holly is planning on working with all brokerages or a bunch of brokerages. I forgot exactly what you told me, David, but it's planning on spreading its wings out to other brokerages. And that's what I'm talking about, how AI is the future. Pretty soon, companies like TD Ameritrade are going to be having stuff like Trade Ideas standard. But the cool part is you can actually get it right now, a lifetime license, and you are set for life. Like, you never have to worry about it again, no matter what program it's on. But I'm not, David. I didn't mean to interrupt you. When I talk, I don't stop for some reason. So I'm gonna pass the mic back to you while you were displaying what you were displaying.
Oh, that's all right. I was actually taking advantage of that to see how accurate Holly was. This is just slapping together as quick as I could a copy paste. And you know what? I'm learning every day. There's probably a way to do this in Trade Ideas. I'm old school, right? I still write with pen and paper. I still use Excel whenever I can use Excel. And page 2 cheaper. All right.
But
And
yeah, so
this
David, so that program, that Brokerage Plus Pro. So when you hit the link, you're gonna see a price list, and it's gonna basically have like you could buy the whole year up front, which I mean you could do that. It's a lot cheaper, but also you could just pay month to month. If you pay for the
yeah.
standard, you're not gonna get Holly, which is kind of like the bread and butter of this. Although the pre-market scanner and the aftermarket scanner is pretty cool. I mean the meat so to speak is Holly, and the advantage, the leg up it gives you once you understand. So you can pay month to month. That's what those programs are. And then the one at the very bottom is Brokerage Plus, where you can actually link your brokerage up, and like you can see Holly right there made point what is that, $2.54 on a trade per share. So let's just assume that was $100 stock. Um, that's 2.54%. I seen that those numbers average somewhere around 1.24% or something like that. And so imagine having that hooked up to your brokerage account and making 1.24%. Even if you had 25,000 in your brokerage account, most discount brokerages these days give you 4-to-1 leverage. So that's $100,000 in buying power. And at $1,240 a day, you can pretty much put your feet up and do whatever the heck you want, depending on what kind of lifestyle you want to live. Some people are aiming higher than that, but yeah.
and and that's what makes trade ideas so amazing. So when it comes to Holly, now we talked about okay, you can sit here and watch what she's doing, and that's all well and good. Um, Another thing too is if you have Holly up and you're watching her, and she can be in the background too. You just got to have her clicked instead of one of the other things. She'll talk to you. If she's about to get into a trade, you'll hear her say the name of the tickers. She's like, I'm jumping in, boom. And that, to me, uses a great indicator. I'm like, oh, hot dog. If I hear Luke's voice or I hear Holly's voice, I'm paying attention when they start throwing tickers out, right? And you can follow along. And to add it, as if that weren't good enough, right? Imagine the power of being able to sit in a webinar. You've got Luke with multiple years worth of training. He knows what he's doing. I follow him. I listen to him. I learn from him every day. That's amazing. Add in Holly AI also talking to you in your headset, who is just changing the way that the world will trade. And they're both telling you, hey, I'm looking at this. Hey, I'm looking at that. This and that. How could it get any better? Well, Trade Ideas came up with a way, and that's Brokerage Plus. Okay. So, on top of being able to look at your pre-market scans in the morning, on top of being able to find something to grab out the day in the afternoons, even adding up everything else that you could possibly come up to look with, after hours, trade the news, who's on volume, I mean, you name it, you got it, right? After all that, they went and topped themselves by coming up with Brokerage Plus.
Mm-hmm.
What is Brokerage Plus? Quite simply, you can use Holly to manage your account. The only thing better than watching Holly and saying, wow, look at her kick butt and make money today, is being able to sit back, watch Holly and say, wow, look at her make me money today. And right now, it's an option. It just started this week. Just started Monday. Monday morning, they said, you know what, you want to use Holly? Go for it. There are a couple of caveats to that, and Luke alluded to them a minute ago. Right now, you have to have Trade Ideas as your brokerage.
Interactive brokers.
It works internally on the phone. Or interactive brokers, I'm sorry. Interactive brokers as your brokerage, and um, it'll work through there. That's not really a big deal, right? They have plans to make it available to other brokerages in 2019. So maybe they'll come to TD Ameritrade, maybe they'll come to whoever you're using. I don't know. They didn't specify, but it will at some point be available to other users. Now, there is a caveat to that. They have created 1,000 licenses to have the ability to have this awesome, amazing machine trade for you. And they were not filling up very quickly for the longest because, well, there wasn't a whole lot of publicity behind it. There wasn't, it was useful, but you had to do a lot of input into it. But then they said, hey, you know what? We're going to let you hook up Holly to it as long as you're signed up with Brokerage Plus. This week, they've started to sell a lot of those licenses. What do you all think is going to happen today? They say, you know what? All of you Thinkorswim users out there, for all of you Charles Schwab people out there,
Gone.
You could hook Holly up.
Done. It would sell out
like
that day.
Same day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instantly. And why is that important to us? Why is that important to you listening tonight? What does that mean to you? Well, today you can get a lifetime license for $1,100.
Well, it's if you click the link below and use the discount code, it actually comes to like, what was it, $900 or something, like 9 and change or something, or 8 and change.
Yeah, $975 or something like that.
Nice.
And it's so you get it for less than $1,000, right? Less than for life, and the price is advertised on their website. They are going to raise it to $3,300 the day they sell their 1,000th subscription, which again is going to happen the same day they announce you can use any other brokerage in addition to the one they already have. Those licenses are gone. They're gone, and so that's going to be what it is. In the meantime, if you get in early, you can take advantage of that pricing and allow Holly to manage your portfolio for you. And really the idea is, at least, this is my personal experience. I've been watching Holly for a little over a week now. Personally, I've been watching her on YouTube videos, things like that. But I mean, on my personal login, on my thing, I'm watching Holly now and seeing that she is successful at the end of the day. She is consistently successful. Not always successful, but consistently successful. And that's all you could ever ask for, right? She is profitable. At the end of the week, she has more wins for more money than she has lost. And I'm going to watch her for another week or so, maybe not even that long, because I'm starting to get excited. And I can guarantee you pretty soon Holly's going to be managing my money. At least part of it. And, I might have a personal contest with her, see who can win more, her or me. And
well, you know what? That's the whole cool part of trade ideas is that, it's can you pull up the main screen? Like, put on the pre-market scan real quick, if you don't mind.
And hold on just a second, because my HDMI cord fell out.
Yeah.
Of course it will. So I might have to switch to the monitor. I'm going to switch over to monitor 1, and we will just make that happen. Okay.
So what I was basically saying was, like David's saying, like me personally, I have an IRA, and I don't have it linked to my TD or Thinkorswim account, which I think I can definitely do. I could definitely roll it over into there, but it's kind of managed, and I can log into it on Fidelity, and I just love Thinkorswim so much. But anyway, Um, the point is, you could instead of like having that money in an account, let's see, like some people's IRAs are making, let's say they have all treasury bonds, or not even, they have like a CD ladder and they're doing 3% a year or something like that on their phone. Well, I mean, this is a proven, Holly has a proven track record and a history, and I'm pretty sure you could even call Trade Ideas and say, hey, can I get the history of the Holly Grail and what it's done, or you can also change the settings of everything. The settings of everything can be changed. If you want Holly to take more risk, you can augment it to change more risk and change it, take it to make it. But a good trading strategy might be to have that brokerage account on the side with $30,000 in it or $25,000, to let Holly just run freely with it. You know it's making good money, whatever it is, 1% or half a percent, or maybe it loses 0.51% a day. But in the long run, it's making money, and it's making good money. It's making more than 3%, 7%, 11%. You know what I'm saying? So just keep your money in there, just a part of it. Don't bet the house. Put 25,000 in there, and then I'm a trader, so I would love to trade. I mean, I have money in an IRA, and I would, I know the smart thing to do is leave it in there, but surely, I mean, sometimes I think, man, I wish I could take that money out and double it real quick and put it back, because that's the way a trader thinks sometimes. But that's a little irrational, and but although the point I'm trying to make is you can have money in Holly and you can still trade based on the setup of the Holly platform. Look at all the other options, all the other scanners. So if you want to leave some money in a Brokerage Plus account, or if you want to just trade with Holly and mirror Holly's trades, um, it doesn't matter. There's so many options and so many things that you could do. I mean, like the thing that we tend to do is we'll at first look at the pre-market scan in the morning, and then on the side, you guys don't see this, but the next thing I do, because I can't, like by law, you can't broadcast Holly, like live stream it. It's a copywriting or something like that, or bootlegging. I don't know what law they got it under, or maybe it's just a rule. But I just read somewhere that they could boot me if I get caught streaming Holly. So after we look at the pre-market scan, which is right at the top, it's that little coffee cup. And we do our pre-market trade, whether it's good or not. I click on Holly and I see what Holly's doing, and then I'll be like, well, Holly seems to, like this, or Holly seems to like that, and I'll often punch the stock market in there, because you can play so much off the stock market. You could play the UVXY, which is one of my favorites and my go-tos, and and I could see, oh well, it says the stock market, it's long on the stock market, so I could buy puts on UVXY, and I mean, just look at the options there. It's incredible. As opposed to, I could not believe that other program that that guy tried to sell me. It was literally a study, and he wanted almost $10,000 for it. I mean, come on, for it's probably less than 200 a month with the whatchamacallit, with the coupon on it. I can't. I couldn't imagine life any other way. I mean, look what you're up against. You're up against a system that is still trying to take money from the little guy, just like in Wolf of Wall Street. You remember the phrase in Wolf of Wall Street? He says, "We were taking, we were selling garbage to garbage men and making money hand over fist." Same philosophy is still in play, and you know what? Hell no. I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to have the best technology available to me. And that's really it. If you find something better, I am not biased at all. If you find something better, please, 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 please come to me with it, because I'd be excited as hell. Imagine they had something better than Holly, something better than just this program in general. I don't know. You got anything you want to add, David, before we wrap it up? It's been about an hour.
Actually, I just want to open it up and put over here, and see if there were any questions. Open it up on the webinar. If anybody has any questions that maybe we can answer about anything we've talked about or um, gone over. Let's see. I see one. G said, "Is anybody on here currently using Brokerage Plus?" I'll be the first to answer. I have subscribed to it, and I have not started using it because I'm still learning how it works. But I will be using it. I would say sometime within the next 14 days. I'm just trying to learn how to use it a little more before I jump in there. And as I go in, I don't mind being a guinea pig, especially for something like this that I feel that comfortable with. Look, it's a great, it's a great, it's a great platform. You get a lot of support. Today I learned something great about programming the Trade Ideas platform off of their forums. If you have questions, you can go in there. Guess what? For the people in the Webinado group, guess what we will get to do now? Have Trade Ideas tell us what stocks are about to cross the pivot points. They'll do it for us.
That's awesome.
Holy cow. Imagine how much fun it's going to be on Monday.
That's
and, that's just scratching the surface of what they can do. So, I'm trying to learn as quick as I can. The more I do, the more embedded we'll be. Luke, are you able to see? Does anybody have any questions on Facebook or anything?
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say. Anybody on Facebook or YouTube that let me check real quick. Let's see. Let's see. So far, no questions on Facebook, and I can't see the YouTube. It doesn't let me see it from the way because I'm third party streaming. But let me see.
Well, as we wrap it up, then one last comment I'll say, and I could talk all night about how awesome this is. But one last thing is some conversation Luke and I had pretty well right as the market bell ended. I was looking at this. I'm learning how to program this to only look at stocks that I'm interested in. So everybody out there has or should has or is developing their trading strategy. These are the rules that I'm going to follow when I get into them, when I get out of, what I'm looking for, etc., etc. For breakout trading, we generally look for stocks between 90 cents, $12.50, a certain amount of float, a certain amount of volume, certain criteria to be met. I found out I can plug that into Trade Ideas. And when you first just boot this program up, and what I've been doing literally all week long is I'm trying to filter through pretty well the whole market, right? I mean, it's just massive. It's like walking into the Library of Congress and trying to find books on one specific section. You're walking around all day trying, oh my God, there's so much information here. How do I filter it? Now, starting Monday, because I learned it about 20 minutes before the market closed, I'm only looking at the stocks that we in breakout trading are interested in. And as soon as I figured it out, it came up with one result, said, hey, this stock is about to do something. And right in front of my eyes, I saw it start to rise up, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this stock is trading, 100, 300, 500, every once in a while 1,000 shares, at a time. Somebody went and jumped in and got 144,000 shares in one thing, and it's like how they knew it was happening.
Now I sent the oh, sorry, go ahead, David. I just sent the price list real quick, but just in case you are not ready, and I don't blame you. Anybody selling anything on the internet, we're not really selling anything, but now we're like giving a link to and you have to buy something. It feels kind of cheesy, so I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna leave you with some stuff that is free, and that way. Let me see. Just give me one quick second. Yeah, the one thing is going to be the trade ideas trade of the week, which by the way was SDS and would have been correct. It was correct in the beginning of the week, and then last week it was I forgot which one it was last week, but and they also have a free book. So at least if you get anything out of this, you'll get the free book, and you'll get every Monday morning a trade of the week that, for the most part, I've seen has been accurate, and that's pretty cool to me. Here's the free book, guys, and oh, there's the trade of the week. Boom. All right. But anyway, this week we had a great week on breakout trading altogether, man. Except today, this Friday, I like chose to lose. I swear to you, David, I chose to lose. I knew that lift was going down, and I chose to lose because it was some kind of like, almost like uh, self sabotage. I did so good this week. The day before, I had made $2,121.33, and I did so well, and then I did all great in the beginning of the week. And we did great on Friday. We did great today too. But it was that last trade, and I was like, I'm not gonna touch that. I don't touch IPOs. That's literally what I never touch IPOs. I never touch IPOs, and because there's no history, you don't know what the heck they're gonna do. The only thing you can look at is the sector and say, well, the sector's going up. But well, what the hell sectors lift? Is it a tech stock? Is it an automobile stock? Is it a taxi cab company? I don't know, transportation, logistics. But anyway, the point is that it was almost a little bit self sabotage the way I did that because we were up about a good 200-300 bucks, and then I went in on Lyft, and it's just stupid. And that's the thing. That's the other great thing about algorithmic trading. Okay, a calculator is not going to tell you 2 + 2 is 5 because it's in a mood. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be 4. And it's the same thing with artificial intelligence. That's why it's the future, guys. By 2021, the market is going to change. Everything about it is going to change because it's going to be completely, like I said, all algorithmic, all artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is going to come standard on your brokerage now. If you go sign up with Merrill Lynch, or Bank of America's brokerage, which is Merrill Lynch, right? I think I got that right. Yes, and they are gonna say, "Hey, would you like to sign up for Bobby Dean or artificial intelligence program?" Pretty soon, it's gonna be everywhere. You can't avoid it, and this is the new internet. Like this is the new, like when internet came out, it was like weird, Like I remember AOL and AIM, Instant Messenger. Everything was just awkward, and then it grew and it blossomed, and we're still not there yet with the internet, but artificial intelligence is the same way. And now I watch this video. They're incorporating Google. They're watching you. They're incorporating Google, and they're incorporating Amazon now, and they're watching what people are buying. And now they got Alexa, which the CIA is in part of that. Soon they're going to listen to your conversations and know what stock you're going to buy through Alexa. Technology is just going to get better and better and better, man. Cars are driving themselves. We never thought we'd see this day. And we are just scratching the surface. I mean, this is the first car, you know what I'm saying? This is the one that was powered by boiling water, making the wheel spin. But so getting in on the ground floor is like I always say, and I also heard something about an IPO. Did you hear about that, David? Trade Ideas is having an IPO. They're coming out with a stock.
I heard it mentioned somewhere. I haven't.
It was on the broadcast. It was on the podcast. Yeah. So Trade Ideas is actually coming out with a stock. That's a big deal. Well, you have to think about it. They're selling 1,000 licenses at $1,000 each. That's $1,000,000, right? So they're making money, and not to mention all the other licenses they sold. And So yeah, they're going public. I think I could be totally wrong about that, but I heard in the last podcast they said IPO. Maybe they were talking about like an IPO of the Holly software into Brokerage Plus. Maybe that's what it was. But if they do IPO, I'll tell you that'll be my new baby stock because this is the future. This is like getting in on Microsoft when they first started or Apple when they first started, only in physical form. You know. But can't
I'll
talk.
tell you what, dude. I was so happy to have a chance to get in on the ground floor of Brokerage Plus. My only regret is that I did not know about Trade Ideas in 2016 when they were giving away the lifetime licenses to, the other leg of that to get all of this. Oh my goodness! Imagine if you
Oh
didn't
my
know
god, a
about this.
lifetime's license is this. No matter what upgrade, anything, lifetime.
From what I understand, if I read it right, because you have the really expensive version, which is what we're paying for here,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have we'll say the entry level version, which
Right,
you could get. It's a greatly discounted price. So the
right.
lifetime license means you get all of this for the price of their entry level subscription for life. So
Wow.
imagine if you were the guy or lady that got that, and now you got this, and you're just plugged in. Oh man,
That's incredible. That's incredible. Listen, guys, yeah, and if you do get this, you won't be in this alone. I'm giving you 3 months free in our program. It's called Breakout Trading, and pay more for each lot you buy. Just before we wrap up, want to give a quick little quote from Jesse Livermore, of course. Um, and that quote will be: Never make never make any trades unless you know you can do so financially safe. Oh, unless you could do so. Let me read it again. Never make any trade unless you can do so with financial safety. That's pretty cool. That was just a random one I picked out of the book. So, never make a trade unless you know you can do so and stay financially safe. That is smart. That is very smart. And that is cool. So, uh,
great way to wrap it up.
anyway, David, thank you so much for sharing um, your presentation. It was flawless. You are a much better speaker than I am. I gotta. David helps me talk. I help him trade. That's no, but he's done so well, and the reason he's done so well is because he's committed to this. Like he said, he took down notes of things that I would say because I'm sometimes all over the place, and I know that, and that's okay. And he would be like, "Hey, he's saying this. I've never heard him say that." And you know what? That was very very smart. And he's a smart guy as it is because um, that's why he has an advantage. Myself, I did the same thing when I was starting, when I was like 19. I remember I used to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning Eastern time when the pre-market would open and sit in front and think that I was doing it right because I was getting up early and I was catching. No. I would just because you're sitting in front of the computer from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. doesn't mean you're doing anything right. There's a saying: just because you're doing more doesn't mean you're getting more done, and that's exactly what I was doing. So anyway, I was young, I was a kid, but yeah, David, thank you so much for your input and for showing what you've learned. And I thought it was important that David also teach what he learned because he's only had this program for about how long?
A week, a little over. Well, actually, you know what? Yep, today is a week.
A week. A week, and he's trading profitably from it. So anyway, guys, again, the link is below, and there's a 15% off coupon, and you get 3 months in my group. to see how we utilize it. If you so choose to use that, you don't have to. But anyway, guys, I am out. David?
Yes, sir. We'll see
All
you
right.
on the other side.
We'll see you on the other side, guys. We trade live every morning on my Facebook page, Luke Breakout Trading. We start streaming on Facebook at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.